Welcome back to the Keep Going podcast, Vin Kennedy. I'm your host, Vin Kennedy. Today we have a special guest. This is Courtney.
Hi
Courtney,
guys.
brief intro.
Yeah, so my name's Courtney Roselle. I am a founder and CEO, whatever you want to call it, of my own health and wellness company called Iron Grace, in which I do about a couple different things under. I am a personal training coach. I'm an online training coach. I do fitness modeling. I do health and wellness writing. So I've written for like Shape Magazine, Sports Illustrated, in the health and wellness topics. I'm a motivational speaker. And obviously what I'm most, oh, and I also have my own clothing line, but what I'm most famous for is I am on the NBC Titan Games and I am the Titan of the East, the most recent winner. So that's what I'm most for.
Yeah, that's all. So I guess the place to start would really be like, where did your fitness journey like kick off, and how did that kind of take a shape of its own?
Okay, so it started at a very, very young age. So I was an athlete all my life. I have four older brothers and an older sister. So I think it just like kind of teared down that. And my dad was a Navy SEAL in Vietnam. Like all my cousins played sports. We were just like an athletic family. Everybody played sports. So that's where kind of fitness started with me. And my mom actually was a single mom growing up. I have a stepdad and all, but she raised us a lot on her own. So she threw us in sports kind of as like a babysitter.
Yeah,
She had that's where we had to do after school activities. My family was raising me, my stepdad was helping, but she was like a single mom. So that basically helped with my fitness career. And I played sports my entire life. It was my most comfortable, my most confident way that's the only thing I knew how to do. And again, I was most confident and comfortable in that arena.
and sports kind of, I feel like they help raise people as a whole anyway, right? Especially like individualized sports, you have to like kind of learn losing and winning, and then obviously as a team, you learn the how to deal with people.
Yeah, I was like very blessed. I ended up being really good in sports. So I was on a lot of travel teams. I was on AAU at a really, really young age. So I was traveling the country at like 12, 13 years old, playing in different basketball tournaments. Like basketball was my thing. Playing in different basketball tournaments, knowing different cultures, knowing different ethnicities, nationalities. Like I was from a small town,
Right.
but because of how I acted and how I had to be more mature at a young age, you would never think I was like, oh, from this little small town in Jersey. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. And where would you say, because you touched on it there, like where would you say your confidence really stems from? Because you could kind of just tell you're a charismatic, like confident person, which is awesome. And I'm
Yeah.
just curious where that stems from.
If you ever grow up in Jersey from a big Italian family, that's one of
Yeah,
them.
very
Like
true.
in my family, if you do not speak, you are not heard. I will
Yeah.
say that I am like that typical Jersey Italian that it comes from, and just being the youngest. But I think fitness and sports, and I had to learn how to like talk to people and how to be a teammate and how different people communicate. I communicate a different way than other people do. How can I get this person to be the best version of themselves so we can win this game? And people, you have to learn that whatever works for you does not work for other people, and you
Right.
have to learn how to work for other people to get the best version out of them. And I truly think that's what it came. And also, again, being raised in a big family is a whole different world. So
Yeah. Especially, I have an Italian mother, and it's just it's a roller coaster. It really is, but it's great.
it's great. It's a gift and a curse. I will say that. Like my mom to this day, I'm 34 years old and she is on me.
Yeah,
She's on me. But she cares so much that, it's again a gift and a curse sometimes.
absolutely. So, how did your fitness journey kind of take its path to go from sports to obviously like Titan games and the things you have going on like these days?
Yeah, so it's again, it started at a very young age. I kind of was so I was always big. I'm like 5'9". I wear 6-inch heels all the time. So really people think I'm like 6'2". But so I call myself like a feminine tomboy. So, I was playing sports. I wanted to play football actually so bad when I was younger. My mom never let me. But it started at a very young age, and I was like trying to discover what I was, and I wanted to wear dresses, play with the girls, I wanted to play with the boys, whatever it was. And again, sports I felt the most comfortable in, but I actually tried out for fitness modeling when I was really, really young. And I was a very like athletic type. I have a lot of muscles. And they told me that no little girl is going to want to like look like me. Like I was going to be a plus size model. I was too athletic, too big, at 12 years old, by the
Right.
way, at 12. So that took a big hit on my like self-esteem. I didn't even know who I was at 12. You're still growing at 12. You're still going through puberty at 12. So I ended up just like throwing myself into the fitness arena of becoming stronger, becoming better, playing sports. I was like, I don't want anything to do with that modeling world. I don't want to be judged. I want to like love me for me. So I went to Mount St. Dominic, which was an all-girls school for basketball. And then I went to University of Scranton and played ball. So all 4 years in college, I was a basketball player. Came out with a really successful like basketball career, really happy with myself. Came out of there working for a loan officer, the New Jersey Devils. I was in business and I took on fitness. I was like lost
Right.
after being a competitive athlete all your life. And then all of a sudden you get thrown into the real world. Like I look around like, what do I do? Do I do fitness for fun? Like
Right.
someone's usually telling me what to do. So I just, after about 2 years after college, after like going to the gym for 24 hours a day, trying to do what I would do, I discovered CrossFit. And CrossFit brought out my competitive side while still trying to be in shape again. Like you can take CrossFit as just a workout or a competition. So I ended up taking CrossFit very seriously. And like I was at Brazen Athletics in Fairfield, and my coaches started noticing me like, oh, you really love what you do. You're really competitive. Would you like to try competitions? I went into competitions, ended up like being really good in competitions, winning competitions, becoming on national platforms, that they wanted me to become a coach. And they were like, we see something in you.
Right.
So after becoming a coach for a while, still work at New Jersey Devils, I loved what it was making the best version of myself. I was becoming strong physically, so strong that mentally and emotionally, it was like changing me as a human being, you know? And I wanted to do this full time. I wanted to give back. I've My mom sacrificed so much to put me in such an amazing place in my life. If I could, I think I should repay her by just being happy. She worked at a desk job that she was not happy with for like 30 years just to put food on the table, just to make a better life for me. So making the best life for myself, I feel like it was paying it forward to her.
Yeah.
So quit the New Jersey Devils. People were like, are you crazy? Are you crazy? I was like, no, 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 I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. Opened up my own business called Iron Grace. At the same time, I tried out for fitness modeling again. And still, they wanted nothing to do with me. They told me, no person wants to turn the page and look that athletic and look that strong. You're too big for fitness modeling. For fitness modeling. I was
Right.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Don't you want fitness models to be strong? Did
Right.
I miss something? Right? Until my mom went up to the US Open, had a couple cocktails in her. My mom was sitting with my aunt on the floor seats. My cousin gave her seats and sat next to the assistant editor of Vogue magazine. And she was there, Jill Delming. I'll never forget her. And she turns to my mom. They're trying to get to know each other. And she's like, I'm here to book models for Vogue. She's like, my daughter is a model. My daughter is a fitness model. She's like, really? Can I see her? And my mom told my story, and my aunt told my story to Jill Delming, how like no one wanted me, no one liked me. She's like, I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna call your daughter. My mom comes home and tells me, and I'm like, no, you just didn't embarrass me. You embarrassed me.
Right.
Thank you so much. Jill Delman called me. She's
Oh,
like, get into here to Condé Nast. I want to see what you're all about. And she put me in front of Shape Magazine, Self Magazine. She's like, tell me your story. And I told her my story of how I like struggled with body positivity and no one wanted to look like me. And she was like, girl, I'm going to book you for your first shoot. And my first job legit was with Vogue magazine
that's
on a
awesome.
2-page spread, like just fitness, putting me as a fitness model and trying to make me look strong. And it was so amazing. And then I got books for Self magazine, Shape magazine. And like it kind of unraveled from there because then WWE took interest in me. So I went to WWE Divas, and Titan Games athletes were there. And these Titan Games athletes were like, you should try out for this show. That they would love you as a human.
Mhm.
Like, you give off such personality. You have such a great story of like, you followed your own path no matter what. You didn't change who you were.
Right.
So then I tried out for the Titan Games, and they kind of heard about me, a couple interviews. And The Rock was like, I want to hear her story. Like, I need her story to be on national TV. And it kind of unraveled from there. And then I ended up competing, winning up Titan of the East. And like, it discovered my life so much more. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's like a gravel. I'm sorry to like ramble on,
No,
but
no,
that's
that's awesome. No,
Yeah, that's how I like raveled on into my own business and doing motivational speaking and telling my story and then being strong and everything in between.
so how did you personally like kind of fight the adversity and like battle the adversity in your head as far as like, you know, how they basically wouldn't take interest in you at first, like with the magazines and stuff like that.
So I think I battled the adversity, not gonna lie, it wasn't even me. I have the coolest support group. Like when I tell people it matters who you spend time with, I
Yeah.
can't express it enough. There's that quote, right? You spend the most three people in the room. That's like who you become. What? No, it is like
Right.
I have the most amazing support. Every time I got denied, my friends, my family, I have a very tight knit group. Courtney, don't worry, they're going to hear you one day. Courtney, don't worry about it. Be who you are. Courtney, they brought out my authenticity. I had no other way to be.
Right.
I always say I'm very, very, very blessed by who I spend my time with. And they know it to this day. Like when I'm with my family, my friends, I got to turn off my business because they recharge me
Right.
all the time. I'm not even, they made me who I am today.
It makes so much sense too then why like CrossFit and then even basketball would be such a good niche for you because it's such a team collective thing.
Yeah. And I walked into the CrossFit gym. In my gym, I was a super strong athlete. So like if I got hit from the outside, I went to in such a positive atmosphere. Like, Courtney, you're a superhero. Like, and I wasn't known to be strong for a female. No
Right.
one was like, oh my God, she's so strong for a girl. It was just, oh, yo, she's strong.
Yeah.
And to be across that platform of not being male or female, that's how I came up with the name Iron Grace, because iron, the barbell, like no one know the barbell has no idea what religion you are, who you love, your ethnicity, your nationality. It just knows, are you strong enough to pick it up or not?
Right.
So, and then grace comes from, I was a basketball player all my life, and you have to be strong and graceful in order to play the sport and also to move a barbell. So that's where iron grace comes from. And it's a masculine type of word and a feminine type of word. And I am masculine, feminine.
I was gonna say, yeah, it really does define
Everybody
you
has a
perfectly.
masculine and feminine side. I don't care what anybody says. So that's where basically my name comes from and kind of embodies the whole name.
So with that, did you ever find so outside of like the magazines and stuff, in because I'm not really familiar with the CrossFit space, did you ever
Yeah.
find, like pushback as far as like how strong you were? Like I'm sure it probably bothers some people.
Oh, it bothers. It bothers. Um, dating's not the easiest. How can I say? How can I say that? It does, like a lot of people, oh, you're gonna get hurt. Oh, you're stronger than most males. Oh, you are like a male. Like, I mean, it is weird that there is still this label. I think we embrace strong females more than ever nowadays.
Right.
But I think I'm also very blessed to be, my career is the fitness arena. So I'm surrounded by strong males and females, not even just like fitness, like personality wise. So when I step outside of it and I still get comments like negative comments like, oh, you have so much muscle. Oh, are you scared to date out in the arena when you're stronger than that guy? It's weird to me. So I'm like, this is a thing. This
Yeah.
is this is still a thing, but it is, I guess. But again, it all comes back to my core group that like embraces me for exactly who I am. And it's not a million people that embrace me for who I am. It's my core group that embraces me who I am.
And who gets it, right? Like it doesn't the other people it really doesn't matter.
When I said it to the group this morning when I did some motivational speaking to the 7th grade group, I was like, be who you are, because it's going to attract exactly who you're supposed to be around. When
So
you're authentic, I attract exactly what I want back. What you put out is what you put back.
yeah,
So
it's
mhm,
so true.
yeah.
And just to go into it, because I heard you say it today, in the snippet, but like what kind of numbers are you throwing around, like weight wise and
Oh, yeah. So I have
everything?
my PRs in life. I have a 405 deadlift. I actually did that at the Titan Games. I was on the show, trying out for the show. I'm sorry, trying out for the show. And I had to do a max deadlift and I ended up maxing out at 405. Maybe it was the energy, maybe it was the atmosphere. Everybody was like, yo, what?
That's awesome.
I have a 325 back squat. I have a 190 bench. I want to hit 200 more than anything in this world. I have a 225 clean. Um, just some numbers I'm throwing out there.
Yeah.
So I'm known to be strong. And maybe that's my genetics, whatever it is, but it takes a lot of discipline. People think this like happens overnight. They're like, oh, you just be, and I'm like, no, well, like I've been doing this for years,
Right.
guys, years on years on years to do this.
Yeah.
So
No, it takes, like you said, it takes time to sculpt, and you've obviously like you've built it.
yeah, and like let me tell you, from because I've been doing this for so long, it's also harder for me to PR. Like people are like, "Oh, you if I even hit 405, like Mercury can't be in that retrograde. I have to have the best sleep alive, like drink a gallon of water. Like it's harder. I think it's great when you're new. You get all these like new physique builds and you get some cuts and you build muscle, you become stronger. It's way harder to stay in it,
Yeah.
and like motivate yourself and be disciplined enough. Like, what else? What's next? What can I improve?
They say, yeah, the hardest thing is to show up every day and like not see improvement right away. And it's
Yeah,
what
it's a
keeps
process.
you going back.
What'd you say?
You personally, like what keeps you going back?
Um, what keeps me going? Well, I will say, like, my business depends a bit.
Yeah.
I also will say, um, I see unhealthier older people, and I don't want to like take offense in any way. I just don't want to end up like that. I want to be able to lift to the day I die.
Yeah.
That's my true motivation. I want to be able, if I have kids, to play with my kids. I want to be able to, do the cool things and show my kids or whoever like what I do. I don't want to grow up with disease. I don't want to, if I live 89 years healthy and that last year is pure, misery, I don't want that. I want to be able to do all the cool things to the day I die. So
Yeah.
that's my
Absolutely.
motivation. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And even you kind of touched on it earlier, like obviously you're sculpting your body and you're creating a physique, but you create so much more than that on the mental end with fitness. And I run and lift myself, and like just through that, like it's the mental evolution that kind of keeps me coming back.
Yeah, it's the confidence level. When I was working for the New Jersey Devils, I took up CrossFit and I was like going to the meetings and I was like sitting in the back and all of a sudden I'm sitting in the front of the meetings, like saying what I want to say.
Right.
And my CEO, Scott, he was like, "Yo, who are you?" And I was like, "This is the easiest part of my day. I had to like lift 500 pounds at like 5 a.m. That's
Right.
like the mindset you have. Like I already did the hard stuff.
It's
This
true.
is way easier for me."
So true.
Yeah.
So do
It's
you
like
want to kind of touch on your coaching and what that entails?
so I will yes. So I have actually like four, five, I can't even, five different certifications in fitness. I'm trying to think, but I really, really, really stress on strength. I am a strength coach. I won't even, I'm a strength, people say strength and conditioning, yes, but I am a strength coach. I'm not like a hit coach in any type of way. I'm not going to lie. Um, I just believe when we're older, strength is what's going to get you out of bed every day. What lifting your own body weight, lifting things, so I have competed in the CrossFit arena. I'm actually right now about to do a bodybuilding competition in the next year. I'm training that, which goes off of big strength. I've done strongman competition before, like a smaller one, and powerlifting, Olympic lifting. I do it on CrossFit. I take all of those, what I've learned, and put it into like a strength program. You know,
Yeah.
um, even when it feels like cardio-ish, it's really off of muscle endurance that I'm trying to test, like how much your body can do over a certain time, like your chest, how much could it endure, your muscles of your chest. I don't just do burpees to do burpees.
Right.
I do it for a strength purpose. How much can you get up and get down every day? Like that's the perspective I look at. So I specify that I'm a huge strength coach.
Yeah, that's awesome. So do you have a gym, like a physical location, or is it
Oh
online?
yeah, so I so I do online training. So that's one of the things I do. I actually have an app that I produce workouts through and also like meal plans and some nutrition stuff. That I produce that as well. That's through Iron Grace. I also personal train out of Hoboken, New Jersey. And I train out of two different gyms, Brazen Athletics and Excel Athletics Lifestyle in Hoboken. And then I also am the strength and conditioning coach for Montclair State University. I'm actually the first female to have multiple male teams underneath my belt. So I train the men's and women's basketball teams, and I train the men and women's swim teams.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So those are like, but if you had to come see me, it would be in Hoboken, New Jersey. And I train out of those two gyms. So, yep.
Cool. So the stepping on stage is going to be a little bit of a difference, right?
Oh God. It's so okay. So I know this sounds crazy. And I tell people this all the time, but I never worked out to look a certain way. Now, let me take it back when I said it. I always worked out to be better at something. So when I played ball, I worked out to be better at ball. Right? I worked out to be better at CrossFit. So
Right.
I didn't work out to be like, oh, I need bigger biceps and bigger shoulders. So this is a whole transition for me, and it's not easy. It really also, I have learned a lot, meaning how to aesthetically change your muscles, and also how putting in your body, I can't stress this enough for everybody that's listening, whatever you put in your body matters. Like people say, oh, it's the 80-20 rule, fitness. No, it's like 85-15, 90-10. How you take care of yourself, from stress to what you put in your body, matters how your body changes. My coach does not allow me to work out unless I at least, and this is like on the low scale, 6 hours of sleep. And she wants like REM. She doesn't want light sleep. She wants you to be in REM. That's where your muscles change. So, like, and I have a crazy schedule sometimes. I'm like, Leah, I know I didn't get enough sleep. She's like, can you please get some sleep? I'm like, I know, but I have to work. She's like, I don't care. You need to sleep.
It's true. It matters so much.
Cortisol, like when you're stressed out, I can't stress this enough. When your body, let me get this straight, does not know the difference when you have a really, really hard workout or you're stressed out at work. It just knows cortisol, right? And like, but if your body's running and doesn't know how to rest, that means cortisol is breaking down the muscles that you just put that hard work into.
Right.
But it just shreds it. It eats it basically. So all that hard work you just did, good luck trying to like keep it and maintain it or not be injured, because all it is just breaking it more down.
It's true.
So even like, this is my busy time of year, the January, February time, because of basketball season too, and the Montclair State sports. And my coach was like, we have to take down your working out. She's like, you're inflamed all over. And I was like, and so because I took down working out, my body looks so aesthetically different 2 weeks
Right.
later, and I weigh exactly the same. It's not like I lost like 10 pounds.
Right.
She was like, see, told you look different. She's like, do you feel different? I'm like, yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it matters. It
It's
matters a
crazy.
lot.
And then even sleeping, like obviously it affects so many hormones. And then, people will be like, oh, I slept 4 hours last night. And like, and then they'll reach for the donuts instead of the healthier option. It's just your cravings. You have less self-discipline.
Yeah. It's a true fact that you crave more like sugar at night and stuff with the less sleep you have.
Right.
100%. 100%. That's why, I mean, I try to balance. The only supplements I truly believe in, like not only supplements, but the ones I truly highly believe in are magnesium, vitamin D. I can't take creatine because actually my body overproduces creatine naturally. It's a very weird phenomenon. But those are the three like supplements. If I had to tell anybody to help balance your body when your body's stressed out, it's those three.
What tips would you have for anybody that just wants to kind of have like a healthier lifestyle overall?
Okay. Ooh. Okay. This is a complicated question. It's complex. But um stress matter. If I had to do like a top 5 like list, stress matters. I don't care what you say, I don't care what you do, but stress matters. So maintaining your stress level is like number 1. Those 3 supplements are probably number 2, because sometimes we can't help stress. So you have to make sure you balance your body in some type of way. So again, creatine, magnesium, and vitamin D. Vitamin D, especially if you live in a certain cold area. I live in New Jersey, right? So we don't get sunlight all the time. I take 10,000 units I use of vitamin D a day.
Right.
It will affect your mood 100%.
Yeah.
I can't even stress it enough. Um, and then I would say also, I mean, to be an advocate of what I do, strength training. Yes, cardio is good for your heart. I totally believe in it, but strength training is like the overall king, I believe.
Right.
It's that you better be doing strength training 3 times a week, at least.
Yeah.
I don't suggest people to do strength training 4 to 5 times a week unless you're competing. That's a totally different arena. But I'm talking about just an average person who wants to be fit. You better strength train 3 times a week.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then what are some tips you would give someone that wants to get stronger?
Wants to get stronger. Do the boring things right.
Yeah.
My arena right now for fitness, because I'm the bodybuilding arena, I do the same thing every single week for 3 to 6 months at a time. Just depends on what I'm competing in. So doing the little things right, like not like I'm against it, but like everybody's doing fancy stuff on Instagram. Like you don't need that. You need to learn how to squat properly, how to hinge properly, how to pull and push properly. Like no one ever went wrong from doing a push-up correctly. Like everybody's like, oh, and then put bands around your shoulders and lift yourself up in the air. I'm like, what? Like that's cool for Instagram. I
Right.
love that. But just to become stronger, let's just try to do a basic push-up correctly. Everybody tries to be all fancy. Let's just, how about for squatting, breaking below parallel and putting your butt back and down so the weight's not in your knees, pushing through your feet, bracing your core, and do it with a simple air squat. Do the simple, and it's the sexy things that are on social media doesn't mean it's the best for you.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Do the
true.
things. Like I'm telling you, when you do the mundane, boring things correctly, watch your body change.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what kind of made you make the transition from the styles of training you're used to and then stepping on stage? And what are some scares you have?
Oh my God. It's scary. Number one, like I know I was on national TV, but you're on a stage just for how you look is a little bit scary. It's
Yeah.
something I'm not used to. It's not even something I 100% believe in. Like I don't believe looking at somebody means they're strong whatsoever. I wanted to challenge myself truthfully because I never done something before. That's it. Like that's the only reason I want to do it. I was like, let me step outside of the performance, the athletic, the CrossFit arena. Let me try this. Let me see what I can learn from it because I love learning. I don't think that something is the overall, besides like strength training, like, oh, bodybuilding's good for everybody, CrossFit's good for everybody. If someone tells me they do Zumba, good for you. You do fitness. You get a workout in every day. So I wanted to see what else I can learn. That's about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So you're a little nervous to step on stage though?
Ah, yeah, I'm nervous. I'm definitely nervous to step on stage. I mean, again, I'm being judged with spotlights on me just
Right.
by the way I look. And it's also weird too, because in the CrossFit arena, right? Or the athletic arena, you lose, you win, right? You're the fastest, you're the strongest. You pick up the most, you put down the most. But in this, it's literally by somebody's opinion. Like the four judges, whatever they think looks good. And each judge has their different opinion. Like there's overall standards. So I'm
Right.
competing in the figure arena, which is great because you need bigger back, bigger glutes, bigger quads, bigger muscle. So I'm not competing in bikini. That's when you look a little bit leaner. So I'm competing in a big back arena. But again, this judge has a different opinion from the judge next to him and the judge on the third chair. So that's going to be very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now
And
last
posing is not easy either. Posing is very hard. You
yeah.
sweat and you're hurting and it's crazy.
That's actually what I was going to say. So yeah, last year I did a men's physique show and a body and a marathon. I wanted to do them both in the same year. And I did that. And stepping on stage, it was I had no problem 16-week prep of like manipulating what I eat. No issue. 80 minutes of cardio sometimes. I was like,
Cool.
gotta get as lean as possible, whatever. But I was like, I do not want to step on that stage. Yeah, it really is. It's
It's
just
that posing, and it's not easy to pose. Everybody's like, "What? You just like throw yourself in a pose?" I'm like, "Are you kidding?
yeah,
I'm sweating and I
yeah,
can't breathe." And I'm like,
I know. And then especially the day of, I mean, you're depleted. So it's like you're doing it depleted, like things cramp up. It's a pain.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally different. But I learned
Yeah,
so much that I bring back to my own athletes. So it's pretty cool.
absolutely. And so what do you really touch on when it comes to motivational speaking? Where does that kind of come from?
I wanted to give back. So like little kids didn't have to go through bullying like I did, or if someone ever feels something, how can I say this? My story is not special. I'm just talking about it. That's what people need to do more of. I'm not special. Like I'm not like, I'm a superhero. Like I'm so glad that people think I am. I'm not saying that. I just talk about it more. So I want to give a platform for people to talk about their stories more. Because being a strong female, I don't want it to be odd anymore. Oh my God, this strong female with muscles. Like, no, I want this. How can I say it's the best way to be like average? I want to be able to see other females flex. I want to see little girls like instead of posing like this to be like, yo, like this.
Right.
I just want to give the platform for people to tell their stories more. So when they see my confidence, like, oh, she can talk about it so confidently. Why can't I?
Right.
All I want.
So true. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
such power in like the vulnerability. I've just found
yeah.
that about opening up about like anything and everything. Like it's so true. It really is.
Yeah, like again, I went to career day and one of the questions was, well, what would you do differently? And I was like, you know what I would do differently? I would have started a lot sooner, and I would have cared less, a lot sooner what everybody thought about me. That's what I would have done differently, because maybe I would have impacted people more. Who knows what would have happened? But I would have stopped caring what everybody thought like 10 years before advance.
Right. And like you said, you kind of lead into the community, people that you trust and that have you, and it's all you need.
Yeah, that's it. You just need your support group. And there's going to be people who don't like you for everything you do and everything you don't do. But that also comes with age, right? Like I know it's very hard to say that to middle schoolers and to put them in my shoes. And I all have to say is just hold on, be patient, because everything happens for a reason.
It's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a weird dynamic too. I think just school as a whole, because you're surrounded by this group, could be hundreds of kids every single day, and then you grow up and everybody's kind of on their own doing their own thing. So it's a little easier too to navigate the I don't really care what they think because you don't have to deal with them.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. So again, easier said than done, but it all
yeah,
definitely comes with maturity and experience. And I'm not saying it's easy at all. So
absolutely. And the last question, the name of the podcast is what keeps you going?
what keeps me going? I love what I do every single day.
Yeah,
It's just that simple. My tagline for my business company, Iron Grace, is be strong, live confident. And I totally believe in that. So when I got so re-energized by talking to a seventh grade group of career day. That's what keeps me going, because they were so motivated by what I do. I wake up and don't get me wrong, I have long hours. Woo, I've been up since 5 a.m. But I truly like wake up and I'm like, I am so lucky.
yeah.
Look how lucky I am. I get to do this every day. What else can I do? What else can I push my limits to?
It's so cool. It's cool when you see someone like doing what they're supposed to be doing because you could just tell and like you could feel it and it's just organic and it's inspiring. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally appreciate it. So it's fun. It's a
Yeah,
long, and I can't wait to see what's next.
yeah, absolutely. I can't wait to see how the show goes.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you updated. You'll see me on social media all updated about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.